Yeah, so it is that unexpected thing I was talking about on the previous video. We'll be talking about Chromakopia. And hello there, I'm Anthony. It's next time when cavernous metal digger talks about music he didn't used to listen to. He doesn't know very well at all. But it's a huge celebration tonight as it's the most popular artist on my channel so far and the next step of coming out of a musical cavern and stopping only talking about metal. Although lots of my reviews are not actually metal, but by most people I'm perceived as a metal nerd. So I'll prove I'm wrong once again. However, you may ask me what made me suddenly interested in his music. And the answer is pretty simple. His new image. I mean, it looks so cool. Bro now looks like Tricky the Clown from Madness Combat series. You can still play it on some Flash imitating browsers, so I'm recommending to do so. But the most important thing here is definitely music. And my knowledge of his creations is pretty poor for now, but I started listening to him the previous week, at the time when Noid came out. So far I've listened to his two albums Flower Boy and Igor, so the ones that are probably the most recognizable, and I like them both very much, I would say. And while I enjoyed Flower Boy more, I think that Igor is objectively a better album, mostly because that Igor's production is better. Although Flower Boy's production is also great in my opinion. There is actually nothing bad I can say about those two albums. Also, Tyler has really pleasant, calmer vocal. And it sounds really natural even if he uses autotune sometimes and doesn't spam it like lots of low quality Polish rappers. Mostly of those ones from internet after 2019. And by the way, lots of my pals keep telling me that Igor is indeed better than Flower Boy, and they also tell me that Goblin isn't good. So when I'll be listening to Tyler's discography, I will pay attention to that. And I think that the biggest difference in those two albums I listened to lies in being energetic. As you might suspect, I enjoyed Flower Boy more because it was just more energetic, and the beats were sometimes more aggressive and catchy, although it's not the same level as Clipping, for example. But Igor itself is more diverse album, it is more nostalgic, and I hear there are lots of vibes from Vaporwave and sometimes slower electronic beats. But anyway, the whole album was pretty fun to listen. And the same is with Flower Boy. But I needed this part for tonight's main part, so Chromakopia, which is the most rhythmic out of those three in my opinion, but also puts some energy and nostalgia. And I don't mean certain Mexican atmospheric black project, although I think Alex has already listened, but it would be difficult to talk about the album without showing the music. That rhythmicity I was talking about before is clearly hearable on the first track already. Also pay attention how vocal greatly fits the beat here. Also, the great feature of Tyler's music is that there are usually no gaps between tracks. It makes the composition of album just more interesting and better. The next track has one beat with constant pace and I enjoyed it a lot actually.
In a sipping cup, someone tells Zendaya she my favorite cause she hit me up. Ha 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 when I double park the lab.
While the next track, which is the only promo track for this album, finally adds some nostalgic elements. But in this track, for example, the beat and the vocal are divergent.
I can't vote, this our decision with a small window. I wanna jump out, but if you wanna stay in the room, I cannot bug out.
Which sometimes happens on this album, especially on those calmer tracks. But it's not an important principle, I would say. For example, the beat in the next track with that cymbals is strongly connected to the vocal. And it gives such an effect that I want to listen to it even more.
So essential, how we used to pick you, cause you was a simple berries and oils, your nature was so simple.
And the next track, which is an obvious reference to a certain American TV show, is also a great showcase of that calmer side of the beats.
I stuffed this in the phantom and wiggled through the streets. She says she never do this, but she think that I'm sweet.
While the next track finally tries to be a little more aggressive, which I suggested a few times is pretty rare.
Where they at? It's getting sticky.
While on this track Tyler tries to mix that energy with some faster rapping.
We here. How you walking at the party with your butt pierced? Should I rather play golf to the check clear?
Well, this track would be probably one of my favorites because it has great catchy melodic beat.
You could be a millionaire and still be a bum ass boy. I've been in a dream, I've been on a team. Okay, look.
And there are still some tracks I didn't talk about, but I think in this case it is not required to talk about every song, as some of them repeat similar vibes, but they can serve those vibes in a little different form, while some tracks put this whole stuff together, like the last one for example. So that's why I told about the most interesting things here in my opinion. But overall Tyler recorded a pretty nice album. At some points I like it more than Igor and Flower Boy. But anyway, I'm encouraging to listen to the album from beginning to end, as it's a worthwhile musical journey. And for now, thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoy what I do here, then consider subbing this channel and liking this video. Just such a small support that motivates me to further work. And see ya soon in my next creations.